Well, after the war, I was still a staunch Democrat. That got me into a lot of fights with my brother Neil, who had already become a Republican. I also became active in the Screen Actors Guild, becoming its president for 5 years. And it was during this period I came to realize that communism was a threat in this country. You know, well, the communists have a rather insidious method. They can gain control of an organization by becoming a small ruling minority. In fact, I would learn that a few of the organizations I belonged to later came under their influence. Then in 1947, during a major strike in our industry, it was later learned that the union involved was under communist influence. And sometimes their tactics could be tough. I wore a gun for 7 months when it was learned that they planned to attack me and throw acid into my face. And I did come to believe that there was some sort of a plan to infiltrate this communist philosophy into our movies, which were then seen all around the world. And I appeared before the House Committee on Un-American Activities, and I told them, our industry can police itself. But I also ended my testimony with these words: I never want to see our country, by either fear or resentment of this group, ever compromise in any way any of our democratic principles trying to defeat them. And, well, there was a side effect to my becoming politically active when my marriage to Jane Wyman ended when she asked for a divorce in 1948.
Well, this was Ronnie's situation when we had that dinner to discuss the problem with my name. Well, we seemed to hit it off, and I tried several times to join the SAG board, unsuccessfully, I might add.
At first.
To show interest in what he did. And he kept dating other women as well as me for almost 2 years.
I had done everything wrong. Just dating her on and off, going away on long trips. I was just doing everything I could to possibly lose her. And then one day, it just struck me. Let's get married.
Yes, let's.
God must think a lot of me to have given you to me. Seeing you is like coming out of the cold into a warm, fire-lit room.
Well, several months later, we were married on March 4th, 1952, at the Little Brown Church in the Valley, with only our friends, actor Bill Holden and his wife, present. Well, I almost immediately had 2 families, Maureen and Michael from Ronnie's first marriage, and then soon we'd have a little girl of our own, Patty, born in October 1952, then Ronnie in 58. We had 2 homes, our own in Pacific Palisades out in the country west of Hollywood, and one south of Malibu where Ronnie had his ranch, Yearling Row, where he bred, raised, and sold horses.
Well, just all seemed perfect. And then both of our careers took a nosedive. We were each without contracts with our studios, we became independents, and we struggled for a few years. But then in 1954, a job was offered to me that, although I was reluctant to accept it at first, would actually provide us not only with security, but would in a strange way actually start me on my political path. I became the host for the television show, the GE Theater. And for 8 years, I introduced a series of live dramatic presentations and actually acted in several of those every single year.
And I appeared under my stage name of Nancy Davis in 5 episodes, 3 with Ronnie, including one entitled A Turkey for the President. Don't ask me what that was about because I don't remember, and no one else does either.
I don't think so.
Well, we were financially secure, and in 1956 we built a new home, which GE wanted to showcase all their new, most modern electric appliances, like refrigerators, ovens, special lighting, garbage disposal. Everything in that house was electric.
Well, except for the chairs.
There was a problem, though. Another aspect of the job was that Ronnie had to be GE's Goodwill Ambassador, touring the 139 plants across the country. I think in 8 years, Ronnie was away from home a total of 2 years. But when he was away, he was sending me all kinds of loving notes and letters. February 14th may be Valentine's Day for ordinary people. I happen to have a Valentine's life which started on March 4th, 1952, and will continue from now until forever and ever.
Well, at first I just walked through the plant, shaking hands. Then I began to give these little pep talks, and that led to answering questions, and finally that led to my giving speeches. And eventually those speeches became not about GE or my Hollywood career, but about the state of the country as I saw it. I also began researching questions people would ask me, and it actually opened my eyes up to the tremendous amount of mismanagement and overspending that our government was doing. You do know no government has ever voluntarily reduced itself in size. And that became the topic of a lot of my speeches, and which was one of the reasons why GE and I, we parted ways.